Welcome back to the Mountain Morning Show, and as you know, it is almost Earth Day, which makes it so appropriate that we have our friends from Republic Services here to talk about recycling. Reese DeMille joins me, as well as Brenda Upright. Welcome, both of you, to the show. It's awesome to see you both.
Thank you.
You know, I've made it a personal policy to try to fill my recycle bin and not fill my garbage can. That's been my plan. And I'm trying. That's not easy to do. And sometimes, because of my eagerness to do so, I might have done things incorrectly. So it's good that you're here, because I didn't realize there's some things I thought were recyclable that maybe are not, and maybe some other reasons why it might not get recycled. So let's talk about that. There's a lot to talk about.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of items in recycling that people understand that are recyclable. They just can't go in your all-in-one recycling bin.
Right.
And so people need to understand what is recyclable, and then how do I dispose of that? How do I properly recycle that item?
Yeah, you know, I was amazed that there was a conference for, collectors of, recycle and garbage, and that's where we ran into each other in the first place. And I learned a lot that day, because there were so many people sending information to me. And I think that's the problem sometimes, is that there is so much information about numbers that are recyclable, about bagging or not bagging. We've had people have told people wrong for years, all kinds of different issues. So let's break it down a little bit. Here in northern Utah, here in Park City, specifically in Summit County and the surrounding area, what are the recyclable numbers? What are some of the things we can recycle?
Well, when you turn a product over, it'll have the recycling symbol, and then 1 through 7, something 1 through 7.
Right.
People shouldn't worry too much about that number. Just if it has that recycling symbol on it,
recyclable.
Recycle it.
I like it.
Let the end user worry about that, but recycle the item.
I like that. That's okay. I can deal with that.
Yeah.
Talk to me about some of the other challenges. We've been told, and I watched this. I saw it in an apartment complex just the other day. They've told their tenants, take it out there in a garbage bag, throw it in the recycle bin as long as it's all recyclable. Not a good idea.
No, and I have an example of that. And the reason why is because the process to separate the recycled materials is the first part of that process is a manual process.
It's done by humans.
It's done by humans.
Yeah.
They have humans on each side of a conveyor belt line, and they actually separate those items. So if a person were to put all their recyclables in a plastic bag that you cannot see through, that even a see-through bag, it shouldn't be in there, and this is the reason why.
Right.
You put it in there, you put it on that conveyor belt system, that human does not know if there's a needle in there.
Oh boy.
And so they're going to take that and they're just going to throw it over their shoulder, and it's going to be disposed of as
right
garbage.
to the garbage.
Correct.
Wow.
And because it's a manual process, if it's in a bag, they have to, as that thing's coming by at a pretty good rate, they have to rip that bag open and try to get the non-recyclable items out. And so it's just better if the items are loose.
Yeah, now they're Lucy and Ethel working the chocolate line.
Correct.
It's a mess.
Exactly.
Right? Okay,
Yeah.
so we don't want to do that to them.
Exactly.
Okay, and this is true, you said, of clear bags, any kind of bag at all. Just take it out of the bag. If you're dumping it in a dumpster that's a recyclable dumpster, just empty it all in there loose.
Correct.
That's the way to go.
And then the question is, what do I do with my bag?
Right.
Well, you can take your bag, and you can take all your bags, grocery bags, whatever, put them in another bag, tie it up, and take that back to the grocery store or whatever, and they usually have a bag recycling bin at the front, and you recycle that bag that way.
Recycle centers do not want your plastic bags. They're better to go to the grocery store, because if you send them to the recycle center, they end up in the air. Right?
That's great. They end up in the air, or they end up in the gears of the automated system that is used to separate the material.
Shut it all down.
For hours a day, every day.
Oh my goodness, yeah. So we need to be, again, this is an important part of us being a part of what you're doing.
Correct.
That's true of contamination as well, right? Let's talk about that.
Yeah, contamination is a huge problem. And a lot of it is because the residents know that this is recyclable, but am I supposed to put it in here like a piece of wood? Yeah, it turns into compost, but you can't put it in that bin. You've got to dispose of it differently. So I brought, like a pizza box. I got this question yesterday.
Yeah, I always thought I could recycle pizza boxes.
You can if it's clean, but if it has oil or any type of, so this has oil on it.
So that's no good.
That is no good. That goes in the garbage.
That much, you're done.
That goes in the garbage. That's
okay.
Correct.
Wow.
So, and then other items, glass. Glass is recyclable, but it's got to go in a specific glass recycle bin.
Okay.
And so we have partners like Recycle Utah and other partners that work with us on how to dispose of those items.
Yeah, and Recycle Utah has the bins that are appropriate for lots of things that we otherwise wouldn't think we could
Correct.
recycle. I mean, it seems like they recycle almost everything over there.
There's a bin for almost everything.
Right?
That's correct.
So as we're making these choices, again, we want to endeavor to to recycle as much as we can, but we want to make sure that in doing that, we don't actually keep us from recycling a lot of things, because like you said, a whole bag could go in the garbage, or we could mess up the line and actually keep things from being recycled, or an entire container.
Yeah, if there's too much contamination in a recycling, a whole truck, then we dump that on the ground at the recycling plant and they say too much contamination, it's got to go to the landfill.
Oh, man.
So it's got to go to a different area. So one of the things that the residents can kind of keep in their mind is empty, clean, and dry. So empty your product, rinse it out or spoon clean it out. It doesn't have to be washed. Nobody has to wash a recycling product. Shake it dry.
Right.
Toss it in your recycling bin.
You're not having to towel dry this thing.
Don't
Just get
towel
it
dry,
mostly dry.
don't wash it, but just
Right.
kind of empty, clean, and dry. And that could mean spoon clean as well, and shake dry.
Okay, what about lids? Are we still worried about lids, or can we leave them on? Do we throw them away? Or do we take them to Recycle Utah?
They're so small. Again, if you had a whole bin full of lids, that's one thing. But if it's just a single lid here or there, and you're not doing it as a group, then
Okay.
it's just easier to throw those in the garbage and don't worry about those.
Okay, good stuff. All right, Brenda, let's talk about some of the other things that we've noticed as consumers. Our bill. Let's talk about that for a minute. What is the fee that we get yearly? We see this occasionally. Talk about this fee.
That's actually something that Reese was going to, cover.
Okay, Reese, you want to hammer that?
So the county came out last year, and because historically the residents in Park City their garbage rate had been subsidized by the county. So the county came out last year in 2016, and they said we're going to institute a $36 annual fee, which is really 20 to 25% lower than what normal rates are through other parts of the state. And that $36 fee, we do the billing for the county, but the money goes to the county. So they just contracted with us to do the billing for that.
Okay.
So we encourage everybody, if you have a front door, you are required to pay that fee to the county, correct? And some haven't paid their 2016 fee yet. They need to do that. And then there's going to be another fee coming out probably in July for 2017, another $36 fee.
Wow, okay. Well, it's still not a bad fee when you consider what's being done.
And correct. And the bill will come from us because they've contracted us to do the billing.
But you're sending it to the county.
But we send all of that money to the county. That's correct.
Right. Let's talk about the pledge. This is important. Brenda, this is you. This is your purview. Let's talk about that. You've challenged me to be better about recycling, and I am.
Good.
Yeah,
I'm
but
glad to hear that.
we can do more. All of us can.
We all can, absolutely. And at Republic Services, we see every day as Earth Day. It's just a great time of year to talk about our sustainability and our recycling efforts that we all can do. So we have a new idea, a new program, if you will. It's the One More Pledge. If you go to www.one, which is the number one, morepledge.com, you can look at ideas of how you can be more conscious of your recycling and sustainability efforts, whether that's recycling just one more water bottle or aluminum can, or planting one more tree. It gives you ideas of how you can implement this in your daily life, and our efforts together will impact the world.
Yeah, I also like to think of using it one more time too, if you can. If there's a water bottle that you can refill and take with you again, frankly, we'd like to see using ones that aren't plastic in the first place. Something that's reusable would be great. But using the product at least a couple more times if we can, a great idea. I love to use the little containers I get a soup in. I like to use those again for maybe my lunch the next day. Pack it in there. There's a lot of ways we can try to do things one more time, right?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Oh, I like this. So the pledge is available on the website?
Absolutely.
All right, and we encourage you to do that with your kids especially. We're set a new standard, right? For the next generation. So I am excited for Earth Day. You guys are celebrating yourselves?
Sure, we're doing what we can.
Well, I sure appreciate it, and I want to thank you guys so very much for being here. Anything we left out that we need to talk about?
Just want to plug the website. If people want to know what they can throw into their recycling bin, they're all in one recycling bin at their curb. Go to recycle.summitcounty.org. The list of those items are right there on the website.
All right, well, we're going to get some practical experience doing it too. You and I are going to go out and film that over the next week or so. So we'll be celebrating Earth Day by putting those practical things we've talked here to use and making sure that we're all doing our part. So much more to come from our friends at Republic Service. We will be back with more right after this.